You're listening to
Youth Ministry Answers.
From stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.org.
Welcome to Youth Ministry Answers. I'm Brooklyn.
And I am Damean, and this is the podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers.
Yes,
Hallelujah.
indeed.
Yes, we do.
Good to
We
see
try
you,
our
Damean.
best. It's good to
We
see
do
you
try.
too, Brooklyn. How have you been?
I have been pretty good. Pretty
Okay.
good. The
Okay.
weather's getting warm here in Florida. We are heading into summertime, so I'm feeling great. How about you?
Man, I'm doing good as well. I'm super pumped about what we got going on today in the podcast. I'm pumped about life. I'm happy, Brooklyn. I really am. Things are good.
Yes. So is there anything in your life that you're not excited about, Damean? Maybe just a little apathetic about no?
You know what? There's no apathy, but it's because we have a great podcast dealing with apathy coming up right now. So I think that might be a little bit to do with it. So
Oh, man, I think I've been a little chill lately, a little apathetic about daylight savings. That just happened.
that just
I was
happened.
like so bummed. I woke up feeling like a complete troll. I woke up like I think my eyes were glued shut. And I forgot that it was daylight savings. And when I got to church, I think I looked like I didn't want to be there. And my husband was like, "You good?" And I was like, "I don't know why
You
I feel
good?
like I just got hit by a truck." And then he was like, "Okay, yeah." He was looking around. You know, it was a little sparse in the room. And he was like, "Yeah, daylight savings every year." And I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm like this right now." So I'm feeling a little sluggish, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm losing sleep is not a good thing.
This
So
it's
I
not
gotta
it's not the best. It's not the
no,
best.
no. Well, speaking of losing energy, we have a great question today. Leah is here, so let's have a
Yeah.
listen.
Hey, this is Leah. What do you do when students show up consistently but don't seem engaged spiritually?
First of all, Leah seemed engaged in that question. Like, she has some good energy. Thank you, Leah. Thank you.
Yes,
But
thank you,
this is a
Leah.
good question. This is like a great question because I feel like we all deal with it
I think a
in
lot of
ministry at
people are
different
wanting to
times.
ask this. Yes, I think we're asking ourselves this in our heads as we're speaking. We're supposed to be focusing on whatever it is we're doing, but we're thinking, why are those 4 kids
Yeah.
always looking like they're about to bounce? They're gone. They're done. Or they just, you might have the same 15, 20 kids and they're just not feeling it. And you might
They
start
don't
to
seem into
feel
it.
you start to feel it. You start to feel like a failure. You start to feel like, is any of this making a difference?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is such an incredible conversation to have because in having it, it gives us some tools and an opportunity to see the subject a little differently. So today we have the wonderful Elle Campbell with us
Elle
to
Campbell's
talk
bringing
about.
the fire.
That's right. What are we going to do when
Yeah.
the room is full of apathy? So I can't wait to have a chat with her.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun. What's up, everybody? Youth Ministry Answers family. We are in the house. Brooklyn's in the house. And we have a very special guest joining the pod today. It is Miss Elle Campbell herself, the CEO, the CP3PO, the woman,
Definitely that.
all of the things. Elle Campbell. How are you doing, friend?
Wait, Damean. I think you just called her a robot.
Did I?
I've never been called the C3PO of stuff you can use before, but I love it. That's
I
going
was
to be
just
my new
throwing out
thing.
letters. I was just throwing out letters and
No, you
seeing
did
what
great.
stuck.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so great. A fun fact is that Brooklyn and I are actually both CCO, but different C's. So
Yeah.
I am Chief Content Officer. and Brooklyn is Chief Creativity Officer.
Okay.
But we do kind of merge
CP3O
into one
sounds
person
better.
sometimes. So I should change it to C3PO.
Yeah,
I don't know what it
I think
means, but
so.
Can I
think it's like
get a C? Can I get a C? Can I be the CCO?
Yeah.
Chief Crazy Officer?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yes!
great. You can have that. You can definitely
I'm
have
happy
that.
to share that.
By
with
the way, I
Damean.
love the Ninja Turtle shirt.
I just
couldn't
saw
see
that. The
before.
turtle was like,
Oh yeah, little little teenage
That's
mutant.
cool.
Yeah, it's my
I
guy.
want that.
Raphael
Okay.
was my guy. Raphael was my
Okay.
Ninja Turtle. Sorry.
I don't know their
Mhm.
names. I liked the blue one. Donatello?
No, that's Leonardo. That's Leonardo. He was the leader.
Leonardo.
He was the leader with the
Oh,
sword.
he was the leader?
Yeah,
he was the C-3PO of...
He was
no.
Wow.
Okay.
That's great.
We have merged worlds in the weirdest way today. We are here to provide some answers for
We
sure.
have some great
That's
answers
right.
for y'all
We
today.
swirled down the drain, and now we're going to come back up.
We're coming back
hello, guys. I'm happy to be here. Delighted, in fact. Thanks for having me back.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you. You are always awesome. And ready? Are you ready to bring some answers for us?
I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
I'll bring
okay.
an answer. I don't know if it is the answer. I will attempt, though. I'll bring an answer. How's that?
I'm excited for it. Brooklyn, how you feeling? You ready?
I am. I am really excited about this conversation because it is on the subject of apathy.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us have experience with a little ennui.
Yeah.
A little I don't give a care, or like as adults,
Mm-hmm.
this is also a real and felt need. So
It is.
to have a youth ministry leader asking the question, what do I do, when apathy comes to find us at our youth ministry?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear what you think. So we want to see lives transformed, and we want to see kids engaged, but, doing that can be an interesting task. So I'm excited to hop in and have a conversation. So, Elle,
Me too.
talk to us. What can we do?
Listen,
apathy
this is a great question. Yes,
visits.
when apathy. What can we do when apathy? Good, great question. Leah,
Hey, I'm a great question and asker.
You questioner asker. That's so true. Leah, thank you for asking this question. Thank you for dealing with our unhinged intro to your podcast episode. We hope you love it. But yeah, let's jump in here and let's talk about this question, because it is a very good question. And I feel like I see it all the time. I don't know if you guys are in like youth ministry Facebook groups. We have one if you want to join the chaos. But I see this question like all the time. It's like, what do I do? Like, it seems like my students don't care. We actually once did a survey. I think it was like 2017 or something. And we sent out this survey to like our whole email list for stuff you can use. And we're like, guys, what's your biggest struggle in youth ministry? And basically the top answer was, I think my students are apathetic, or like, I don't think my students are growing. I don't think they care. I don't think they're engaged. So this is definitely like a felt need that we have as youth pastors. So yes, that's good. But what I really want to challenge us to do today is to try our very best to put ourselves back into the brains of our little teenage selves. Because as adults, sometimes it's like, why aren't they doing what I want them to do? But like, if you thought about yourself when you were that age, you might have like a little bit of maybe more grace, more empathy. And I'm sure that Leah is already coming at this with lots of empathy. But sometimes if we, like, I feel like youth pastors, we can like rile each other up a little bit too much and be like, yeah, the kids these days, they're terrible. So that's not what we're going to do.
Those kids these days.
Days. The comment section, guys.
Okay,
that's the problem. Just don't go to the
funny.
comment sections ever. That's where the riling
real.
happens. So this is not a comment section, this podcast. This is going to be hopefully a useful conversation. Okay, so let's talk about this though. Because yes, we all as youth pastors clearly, like Brooklyn was just saying, want to see the students in our ministry like engaged. We want it to feel like they care about what we're teaching, like they're listening, like they are personally growing and like taking this seriously at home. But sometimes it does feel, like Leah said, like kids are just showing up and they're not taking their faith at all, like outside the walls of the church. And it just kind of ends, like when the sermon ends. And maybe they're sitting in the sermon and they're not even engaging there either. So I get it. Yes, it is definitely discouraging as a youth pastor who's like, you're putting your like heart and soul into this, and kids are like sleeping or like not.
They don't hide it. They don't hide it, huh? They're just
they don't hide it.
Or they have their headphones actually on.
They do. They fully have them on. Correct. Their phones are buzzing the entire time because they're texting everybody else about like how your hair
Mhm.
looks weird that day or something. It's very rude. But so here's what I want to do. I've got 5 ideas, right? 5. I had to look at my notes. I couldn't remember how to count. I have 5 ideas that I want us to talk about today. So should we dive in? Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's dive.
What's the first way?
The first thing, my friends, is this. I think when you are struggling with an apathetic student, the first thing I think we can do is really like inner work for ourselves, which is to redefine our role as youth pastors. Because sometimes it's like we get in our head that we have to be like this spiritual like catalyst, and that like if students are seeming apathetic, that we are failing as leaders. But that's not our role. There's a quote that I really like. You may have seen stuff you can use post it because I personally like it a lot. So I keep putting it in the social media queue. But it's from Ruth Haley Barton. And this is what she says. She says, I cannot transform myself or anyone else for that matter. What I can do is create the conditions in which spiritual transformation can take place. And I love that idea because it's so true. Like we literally cannot control the outcome of anything that we do in ministry. That is not how spiritual growth works. The only thing we can do is to like set them up to grow and then just trust that like God's going to take care of it. So we can build relationships with students. We can like teach them the truth that they need to hear. We can like invite really good questions from them. We can like model authenticity for them. We can do all of these things. But ultimately, we cannot control the pace of a student's spiritual growth. And like, that's fine. That's okay, guys. So release yourself from this burden of feeling like you are a failure if your students are not growing at the pace that you want them to. There's also that passage. We talk about this one a lot because it's, we make grow curriculum. And so anytime we can find a little Bible verse about growing is always a good thing. We like to put that in our pocket. But 1 Corinthians 3:7 talks about like, Paul is writing and he's talking about how like some people are the people who are planting the seeds. Some people are watering the seeds, but like ultimately it is God who makes things grow. So when we are feeling discouraged, we can just trust like that part is under God's control. It is not ours. And so we can't take on that responsibility. And I love the idea that like sometimes we are planting seeds, sometimes we are watering the seeds. Do you guys have plants in your house, like house plants?
I
I know
do.
Brooklyn's got a couple.
Mine are fake, so I got fake ones.
Yeah, that one's fake. That one's
Okay.
fake. I do have primarily fake ones. I have a couple real ones. But guys, like, okay, if you've never attempted to grow a plant, I would encourage it just to let these spiritual metaphors sink in a little bit, because I have this problem where when I am not seeing like my plant growing, that I'm like, oh, it probably just needs more water. And so then I just keep dumping water on it and then I drown it and then it dies.
I've done that.
So
Yep. That's why they're fake now.
It's true. And so I think like as youth pastors, sometimes when we aren't seeing the results as quickly as we want, we can like kind of go into like smother mode and be like, how do I need to engineer this kid to grow spiritually? And all of that smothering is not helping. It might actually be hurting. So
That's good.
just guys, remember your role,
Yeah.
maybe redefine it in your mind if you need to, and just release yourself from like that pressure of feeling like it's your job, because it is not your job. It is your job to be faithful with the planting and the watering and then trusting God to make the things grow. That's the first thing.
I will add, that's so good, Elle.
I
I will
love that.
add perspective from the elder in the room, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
It is planting, it is watering, but sometimes it's a lot of waiting, like for a long time. And if we're talking about plants, I have living plants in my home. Half of them are, I would say, are actually alive. And then the other half are holding on. And maybe like a few are actually dead. And some of them possibly could come back to life. But the things that happen to them sometimes have nothing to do with me. Like we had a freeze in Florida. This avocado tree I've been nursing to life for 4 years got frozen. And I couldn't keep it from not getting frozen. It just did. And now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see if sun and like taking care of it and pruning it and doing all the things will like help it. But sometimes I just have to wait. And it's really not up to me, even though I really did try and I did pray. And I think sometimes, I think that's happened over, with humans, it's a lot different. There are times when you do water and plant and wait, and it seems like nothing's going on. And then 10, 15 years later, this child who was 10 comes, into your church at 25, and they're like, hey, do you remember that one talk? And you're like, actually, I don't remember anything, but they'll remind you of what you said or the setting and the environment you created and how it somehow tended to them and how that led them to a next step, which is now helping them, have a relationship with Jesus now. So don't forget to just wait and be patient, even though that's annoying.
No, it's true. And that's like actually the second point is to remember that discipleship is a process. It is it's not a like linear well, here, let me do it this way. Let me tell you a couple things discipleship is not, that sometimes we forget that it's not these things. So first of all, discipleship in general is not about learning. It's actually about putting what you've learned into practice. And because of that, like, it's like if it were just about learning, we could engineer the outcomes a lot more easily. It would be like, like a teacher, like, not even a teacher can like fully engineer the outcomes, but at least they can like do standardized testing and be like, okay, you don't know your multiplication table. So like, let's work on that some more. But at least that's like a nice, like, there's like really tangible outcomes of like, okay, I'm going to teach them this. They are going to learn it. And that is the end. But when it comes to spiritual formation, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to teach them knowledge. We're here to teach them knowledge that inspires them to do something. And that makes it way messier and way harder to control. So it's not about learning. It is about them putting that into practice. And it's also, discipleship is not this like linear path. Like if you were to chart a kid's spiritual growth, it's not going to be like, I don't know what way my camera is facing. It's not going to be like, it's not going to be up and to the right the whole time. Like that's not
careening down into a valley.
But like none of us grew that way. None of us are growing that way. It's never been this like up and to the right chart. It's always been like this weird squiggly path.
It's like a Candyland thing, or Chutes and Ladders, maybe.
Chutes and Ladders sometimes,
yes. You feel like you're doing good, and then suddenly you take a little shoot all the way down to the bottom.
And then you have to figure it out. But then you can get catapulted back up to the top, depending on what happens.
That's so true. So think of it. I'll have to integrate that metaphor into my future versions of this content. But like it's not this nice linear path. It is like a little crazy and chaotic. And some days and some weeks and some months and some years are going to be like maybe a little bit more stagnant than others. You've had that, I'm sure, just like all of us have, and just like the students in your ministry have or maybe are having at the moment. And that's okay. Like, if you zoom out, it's just like a little segment in a much bigger journey. So keep that perspective in progress, keep that perspective in mind. I don't know what word just came out of my mouth.
I think it works.
Sure.
It's a process.
I think it works. It is a process, and it's in progress. There are so many moments where I see this fast forward and slowing down. I know that we're throwing a lot of metaphors into the universe right now, but I know it's okay. You guys are still here. Thank you. There's like this fast forward and slow down situation, but it happens in, for example, like, camp. It's like the cherry on top of youth ministry. You go and there's like these fast forwarded moments where they get to like really experience alone time with God or time with each other. They get to cultivate some of their gifts together. And it's like this huge leap. But then they go back to school in August, and I feel like there are these pauses where other things like little crisis happen, whether it's just even going to a new school or something in their family is happening, and it's not easy for them to grow. It's not even easy for them to live. It's hard. So I think it's going through just the part where you grow up is hard. So for me, I always try to think about what stage of life are they in? How is that impacting their growth? And what could be happening in their world that's really causing things to be a Candyland or Chutes and Ladder experience where it's just kind of all over the place. The cool part about being in youth ministry is you can be there with the like net and be like, well, if you fall off the board, it's fine.
I got you.
Like, we're
I
over
got
here.
you.
Yeah. And we're creating a little network of help for you because growth isn't linear and it's not predictable all the time. So I love that.
Yeah.
What else?
Good.
What's the
What
third
else you
way?
got for us?
Well,
The
before
third
I
way.
flip to the third one, I want to tell like a little story just really quick because I think you're talking about some of these like these external things that are impacting kids like lives. And I think one that we don't often think about is just the fact that lots of kids are internal processors in general. Everyone has like an inner world that you don't see. And maybe that's just a thing to be aware of too. But some kids are like have even more than others. And one thing that I like to do is like when a kid is frustrating me, like I'm frustrated by whatever the external thing is that I'm seeing, whether it's a behavior or like a lack of engagement. And so I'm kind of like putting my own narrative onto whatever behavior I'm observing, but I don't actually know what's happening in their little skulls. And so a thing that I often would like to do when a kid was irritating me is I would try to think about, okay, when I was their age, what was I doing? And what were the adults probably thinking about me? Like, I think that's like a fun game to play. So there was this one example where I actually got like a look into what an adult actually was thinking about me because they told me afterwards, which I don't know if that was a good leadership movement or not, but they did it. So this is when I was in middle school. And I'm going to tell you. So I was like a middle schooler and I went to my first like big youth ministry event, and they were doing like altar calls, but then they were also doing like a rededicate your life kind of thing. And they did this whole call. It was like Isaiah 6:8. It was like, here am I, Lord, send me. It was like, if you are going to be on mission for Jesus this year in your school, like come to the front. And for me, like I'm like an internal processor, like probably a little too much. I think a little too much about most things. And I'm like sitting there like, I've literally never considered even doing this before. And I'm like watching my friends get up and I'm like, are you guys just making this decision? Like,
so
right?
quickly?
Like, what are you doing?
What's happening?
You're making a commitment to like the God of the universe, just like because that song got you like amped up. Like, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I have to sit here. I have to think about this. But like, I'm an 8th grader. Like, I did think about it. Like, so I like left the event and I was like, maybe that is something I should be taking seriously. And so it took like, months for me to like, but I really was processing it. And so by the time I went into like high school, I was like, that formed me, like that shaped me. But one of those adult leaders was like, I was really disappointed that you didn't stand up. And I'm like, ma'am.
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say, looking back, I can see how thoughtful and like how intentional you are. What?
Sorry.
That's a different leader. That was a different leader.
The leader was
later.
still around. I don't love this. I don't love it.
I'll tell you who it was later. You know who it was.
Okay.
But this person was like expressing their disappointment in me. And I remember thinking like, Kelly stood up. She's not going to do anything. She just stood up. I know her.
She stood up all willy-nilly. Elle, you're not standing up all willy-nilly.
Wait, is that her real name? What are you doing
No,
over here?
Kelly's not her real name. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you off mic.
Good. Okay. I'm just making sure everyone's safe.
Everyone's safe.
Okay, so this is what not to do clearly if you're just chiming in. Like, Elle's explaining a youth leader shaming her for not processing like everyone else. And I think maybe we can learn from that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say like what is going on in a kid's head, you don't have access to unless you ask. And even then you might not get the full story because they might still be mid-processing. But just know like the things that are happening are shaping them. Like, and sometimes kids are going to respond differently than other kids. And just because one kid responds in like an external, obvious way doesn't make it better than a kid who is like internally processing.
Yes. That's really good.
We don't always do that. Like sometimes youth ministry is structured in such a way that it like rewards the external processors and the extroverted kids, while the quieter kids are like, there's real stuff happening, but they're not maybe expressing it in a way that you're looking for. So there's that. And which leads us to the third point, which is recognize the wins, because you probably have more wins than you realize, especially if you're not looking in the right places for all of those wins. So when we're talking about recognizing the wins, like, just know there's more going on beneath the surface than you probably know. And you can reframe the stuff, even the stuff that just seems like boring, like consistent attendance, for example. If a kid is showing up every single week, that's a win. Even if they're like not engaging in the way that you want them to or think that they should or whatever that looks like, the fact that they keep showing up and wanting to be near you, wanting to be near like your community, wanting to be like impacted by what's happening at church, that is such a win. That is amazing.
It is.
So like don't like ignore that. Like pay attention to that and be like, good. Like these kids actually want to be here.
I love that because this is one of my favorites, because there are seasons in ministry where it seems like there are so many L's and not L's like like the L's, the losses.
Too many of me?
The losses. That was funny. I wasn't even ready for that. That was
the
funny.
world's cutest pun. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Too
Cute pun.
many L's.
Too many losses. Too many like horrible things going wrong at times.
Yeah.
I had a season in ministry where it was just like, oh my goodness. And everyone, it's so easy to pile on when there's hard things and you're looking at hard. And sometimes you do just have to be like, look, guys, kids are showing up. Where the doors are open and music's being played. The Lord hands are raised every now and again.
Yes.
Okay? We are going to celebrate these things. So like looking for the wins can really go a long way, and it can really help to set culture as well. So that's one of my favorite. Recognize the wins, point them out, celebrate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for you and for your team, and also for teenagers. Like, because I think it not only if you feel defeated, probably your volunteers are going to pick up on that. They'll start to feel defeated. And then also like kids could start to feel like kind of judged. Like, man, like these adults like keep making me feel like I am like lazy, like a lazy Christian. And I'm just trying to like be a teenager. So all of that like kind of negativity can really filter down in some potentially like pretty negative ways. So I think focusing on those wins can have like this trickle down effect that really helps everybody see like, oh no, God actually is doing stuff and like progress is happening. There's kind of like that like emotional side to recognizing these wins. But one way that you can like actually train your volunteers with this in mind is to actually like specify what wins are and what they are not. So there was a time where I may have told this story in like some other places, and the guy who I tell this story about, we laugh about it, so he's fine with me telling the story. But he started off as a new volunteer. I was overseeing him, and he was like so jazzed to get started. He was like, "Yes, we're gonna change the world. Like God's gonna do big things." And I was like, "Cool, you have 5th graders," and he was like, "Yeah, they're 10. Like they're gonna change the world." I'm like, cool, great. So what is your goal for being their small group leader this year? And he was like, oh, well, by the end of the year, I want every single one of those guys. First of all, guys is a strong word for 10-year-olds. But he's like, I want every single one of those guys to be reading the Bible every day. And I said, got it. That's literally not going to happen, babe. So let's figure out a different goal that we can have. And if that is like your only goal, you're probably not going to get it because you can't control what a bunch of 10-year-olds are going to be doing on a regular basis. And if you make that your goal and you fail, everybody's going to feel like they missed the mark. So instead, a different way of doing that is to think about how can I help each kid in whatever place that they are on their journey, just take one more step. So if a kid was never reading the Bible, maybe the next step could be like reading it just like once a week and maybe just like seeing what you can like ease them into. But then if there's a kid who's already reading the Bible like every single day, amazing. What's like one thing you can do to challenge them to take like the next step? And it's a more complicated and like messy approach to like defining those wins, but I think that's what discipleship is. It's like figuring out where somebody is on their journey and not like how do you mass produce these like Christians, but like, how do you help this one person just take whatever that next step is for them? So it's messy, but like, I think that's what discipleship is. It's like personal. It's like specific to each person's individual life and like relationship with God. So to find those wins on an individual level for sure, and make them just like the next step, not a finish line. Okay, so that's number 3. Redefine the wins. What did I say?
Recognize them.
Recognize the wins.
Recognize.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Redefine the role. Recognize
you.
the wins.
Yes, I should be repeating these for myself. So recognize those wins. And then the 4th thing is don't give up. Like, this is one that I think we have to keep reminding ourselves of as ministry leaders, because we're going to get frustrated probably regularly when things are not moving as quickly as we would like them to, or like kids are just like not getting it the way that we, kind of want them to. But like what Brooklyn was saying, it's like sometimes it's like 15 years down the line and somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, that made a difference. You're like, oh, what's your name again?
Yeah,
amazing.
like,
I'm
what?
so glad. That's so good. So it takes time sometimes, and that's okay. Like, that is the nature of spiritual growth, the planting, the watering, and then the growing. Just know that it takes time. And while it's taking time, just don't give up, because what you're doing really, really matters. And it is making a difference, even if you can't see what's happening above ground. Below ground, lots of things are growing and roots are taking root and all of that good stuff.
Amen.
I have a question.
Yes.
So have you ever planted a plant and it grew and it like yielded something you didn't expect? Like, it has flowers and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Or there's like actual fruit and you didn't mean to. You just bought a plant because it was pretty, and now all of a sudden there's something else there. I like thinking about that, because when you're not giving up, you're not just giving up on the kid, you're giving up on a lot. You're not giving up on a lot of things: their community, their friends, their family. I sometimes have no idea, like, the ricochet, me sitting with a kid for 12 weeks in a row, or a whole year, or 4 years. I have no idea the impact it's going to have. And then they show up and there's like this other thing going on. And you're like, I've had no idea. I could never imagine. That's not what I was hoping. I was just hoping that you would feel cared about, and that you would know that God loves you, or someone does at least, or likes you. I think one of the biggest wins in our youth ministry every week, because it's super hard knowing if a kid even wants to be there, especially a middle schooler, is like, a win is if they feel liked and they are comfortable just sitting around and being their own self and being grumpy or whatever they want to be. When they get to that place, then there are some investments that can be made. And then when fruit starts happening, you don't even know what it's going to look like. So it's not like you can plan for that fruit, because you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know who they're going to be, or their personality, their gifts, all these things. So there have been so many moments where a middle schooler, a high schooler grows up and comes back, and I'm like, wait, you became a what? And you're doing this? And you have this type of influence? And it's amazing. It's surprising. It's exciting. And not every story is like that, but there are stories like that when you don't give up. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
It's so
Don't
good.
give up.
So that's 4. You have
That's
something
4.
else.
We have one more, and I'm going to recap the first 4, because this last one is going to be a little shift. So far we've talked about when a teenager, you're feeling that they're maybe a little apathetic. Redefine your role. Remember, discipleship is a process. Recognize the wins and don't give up. So the commonality with those 4 things is those are kind of all about you. And because I think that's important. Like, as leaders, like, there's not much we can do to force a kid to grow, like we talked about. So those 4 things are really all about us. But this last thing, I will give you a practical thing. And it is plan with discipleship in mind. So we've talked about how discipleship is like messy, it's organic, it's very like, like a one-on-one kind of thing. It's just, you can't turn it into like a system. But that doesn't mean you can't put any kind of strategy around it. You can put some strategy around discipleship. It's not just like, we can't control it, so we just won't worry about it. I'm not telling you to do that.
Here we go.
Not telling you.
And
Don't
also,
do that.
parents and families don't love hearing that. They're like, wait, you don't even have a singular plan.
Yeah, no, saying God's got it is like not a strategy.
God's got it. That's funny.
We're gonna combine the things we've talked about that like there's only so much you can do with, but there are things you can do. So plan with discipleship in mind. Even though discipleship is messy and it's organic and all that stuff, you can be strategic about it. And so the way that we recommend thinking about discipleship, this is what we did at our church and what we recommend and kind of created through like the GROW strategy, is focusing on 4 spiritual habits. And so those 4 spiritual habits are spend time with God, that's personal spiritual disciplines, spend time with others in healthy community, know and use your gifts, which can usually like result in service, like service, compassion, all that, and then share your story of faith. Those 4 things are simultaneously outcomes of spiritual growth. Like when you're growing, you will start to do those things more naturally, but they're also like habits that cause spiritual growth to happen. So if you are feeling like teenagers are apathetic, or maybe teenagers feel like they're apathetic and they don't want to be that anymore, those 4 spiritual habits are a great place to start, because the more that they practice those things, even if they're not feeling it, the more likely that they are to actually start growing. Because if you're telling them like, hey, listen, if you don't care about this right now, like just do a little bit to spend time with God on your own, or just take another step to get involved in like a small group and some like healthy community. Go serve somewhere like low stakes if you're not sure about it yet. Go have a conversation with somebody about Jesus and just see how it goes. Like those are all little steps that can kind of like waken up a kid who's feeling a little stuck right now. So think about those 4 spiritual habits and put a strategy around them. The way that we do it, I know we've talked about it on this podcast before, is to really take one of those spiritual habits and focus on it for like a whole quarter. Create like experiences and moments and activities like all around it. So like for us right now, we're heading into the summer. And in the summer, we focus on the spiritual habit of sharing your story. So that's like a great like time to really focus on evangelism, helping kids like think about what their story actually is, like what God has done in their life, what God is doing right now, what they want God to do in the future. And all of those things can just be catalysts to like help them start to wake up a little bit and to feel more engaged with the stuff that you're talking about. So put a strategy around those 4 spiritual habits. They are habits that will last a kid for a lifetime, because if you can drill those 4 things into them, then like forever, if they're like, man, I feel like I'm not growing right now, or I feel a little stuck. If they have the language around those 4 things, those are just 4 starting points of like, what can I do to fix this? Like, okay, well, maybe I could like, spend a little bit more time with God right now. Maybe that would help. Maybe I need to like spend some time with somebody who knows God. Maybe I need to do that. And those are just 4 like simple things that they can do both now as a teenager and into adulthood that will hopefully help them keep growing. So turn those into a strategy.
Yeah. And the more you spend time thinking about these spiritual habits, the more opportunity they have to know what those habits are like individually for themselves. So if you're talking about spending time with God and giving them lots of examples of how to do that, they have more tools, like they have more creativity, they have more ability to think, I can actually do that, because some people are listening types of learners and they hear your message and they grow and they spend time with God through just listening. But a lot of teenagers are not. And they might really feel like they grow when they're journaling, reflecting, taking a walk outside, listening to music. There could be all types of ways that they do it. And every time you present sort of the smorgasbord, they can imagine being at it. Like they can imagine sitting down at the table and really taking something and enjoying it and using it, versus it being like this gnarly gauntlet of things you have to get done. So I really love the idea of setting them up to have habits that are diverse and inclusive of them as a human being. And I think we can really help teenagers when we do that. So yeah, I love this.
That's a whole other toy box of ideas we could open up. Like we should do a podcast episode just about all like the creative fun ways that you can teach
Yes.
a teenager to like spend time with God, because it is so boring to so many kids to be like, you have
Yes.
to sit down in silence and read this book and think about
I
it.
know.
And
It's
you can't let your mind wander.
mind-numbing. Oh,
And if you can't listen to any music except maybe worship music. And then that's how you connect with God. And if that doesn't work for you, then sorry.
And there's no other
that's
way.
why,
Right?
yeah.
You
And
can't
so,
do
I
it.
mean,
What?
what are we doing? I think that's why sometimes we use art, sometimes we use all these things. It's also why we completely dismantled our student devotionals that we published on Amazon. We started one way and they were pretty like, the template was pretty stable throughout. And then we decided to kind of blow it up and create a different way to read God's words every day so that you can have experience with, the method of SOAP, like, scripture, object, or what is it? So
Observation.
it's like scripture, observation, apply, practice, or whatever. And then you have like more reflective things in different types of way, or just looking at it like theologically. How does it look when my life and this story intersects? So it gives them a little chance 4 weeks in a row to cycle through those things and find out what's going to stick. I mean, not everything's going to be something that's good for everyone. So I like having multiple options, just like sports with kids. I think it's great for kids to play all the sports so they can figure out who they are and what they like.
Yeah.
But if you just give them one thing and they decide sports aren't for me because they've only had that one thing, it's not the sports fault. It's because we didn't really help them.
You didn't give them no
We
options.
didn't really help them see, that there are opportunities for those who would rather not use their hands at all or whatever. So that's good. Yeah, let's do that podcast.
Okay, somebody leave a question asking Brooklyn to explain all the fun ways that you can teach a kid to spend time with God. It'll be a great episode, but somebody has to leave a question.
Yeah, I want to hear Elle say the word is it florigelia?
Florilegia.
I can't say that word.
Oof.
I want to hear myself say it correctly.
Florilegia?
Okay, I'll just tell you what florilegia is really quick. Damean is like, what language is Elle speaking right now? So I actually didn't know.
I'm definitely not speaking that language.
I didn't know that this was a spiritual practice until I was a grown up. But like my whole life, I've loved collecting quotes. I mean, I started this episode with a quote, so I guess you can tell that I do love to collect quotes. And I love collecting them. I would always carry on like little notebooks and I would write down quotes. And it would be so fun to be like, oh my goodness, like this quote like talks about a similar thing to this quote. And like I'm like creating these connections between all these different quotes. And I loved it. And then one day I hear about monks practicing florilegia. And I was like, what is that? And guys, monks would make little quote books of Bible verses and then like spiritual leaders just like things that they had like learned and like would create these little like webs of quotes like around certain topics. And I was like, wow, I accidentally became a monk. Or something.
No, you didn't, but
so that's florilegia. Florilegia?
Yeah, florilegia.
Yeah.
So
and there's a
lot of
I didn't
know
the
that.
metaphor
That's cool.
is it's like a flower metaphor. So if you think of every quote like a single flower, it's like you're collecting all these flowers and creating your own beautiful bouquet of ideas about Jesus.
That's cool.
That complement each other.
I never knew that something I did as a kid and you did as a kid was an active practice of like prayer or I just thought I was like a very weird little collector girl.
Well, you're
That's so
that
fun.
too. Yeah.
Because I would not just collect quotes, but also like phrases like that I would hear if I'm walking and I hear someone say a phrase in conversation. Sometimes I would write it down. It has no context. But, sometimes you just collect little bits and pieces and you can turn that into a language of your own or something beautiful. So yes, we'll definitely have to do that podcast and then maybe create a little, like a little handout where people can practice it. That'd be fun.
Cute. I love
like
it.
that.
Well,
okay.
That'll be a good episode.
Gosh,
you don't need me for that one
you.
because Brooklyn could probably just do it herself. But
well, we'll see. Well, I could barely say the word, so
that's okay.
I might need some help.
Producer Caitlin can chime in with the correct pronunciation.
I know I said it completely wrong the first time. We have that on recording, but
that's fine.
I think for me, I get so excited about these ideas. I immediately flip them in my brain into different words, completely different new ideas. So
that's great.
It's always good to have friends in those moments.
So true. So true.
Thank you so much, Elle. I'm sure Leah is going to love this conversation because it was full of so many good things. having an apathetic student or group doesn't mean they're not growing.
Yeah.
What would you say is really happening?
And it doesn't mean you're a failure. Like,
Right.
if you feel like a kid or a group of kids is spiritually apathetic at the moment, you're not a failure. God's not a failure. There's stuff going on beneath the surface that you can't see, and that's okay. The only thing that you can do right now is to be faithful in like the planting and the watering and then trusting God to make things grow. And in everything that you're doing in like being faithful, it's like just continue showing up for those kids and let them know that like they're safe with you for as long as this takes, and that you're going to be with them and you're going to be supporting them through all of it.
Amen.
That's so good.
Keep
Thank you
trusting
for
God, youth
coming.
pastors. Keep trusting God, youth leaders.
Do it.
And Leah, you've got this.
You got this, Leah.
You do.
All right. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Oh, that was awesome. That was so good. Blessed my socks off. Blessed my socks off. And a quick recap of all of Elle's points when it comes to dealing with students that are apathetic or seem apathetic. First one was redefine your role. Redefine your role. Number 2 is remember discipleship is a process. Number 3 is recognize the wins. And number 4 is don't give up. Don't give up. And number 5 is plan with discipleship in mind. So that's a quick recap of the points that Elle laid out for us to walk in.
So it was such a good conversation. I know we mentioned a few things during that conversation, but I just want to throw them out here for us. We do have a few different discipleship activities you can use. We have a ton actually in the Grow Marketplace, but I wanted to point out in the Rhythm prayer prompts because they're a creative way for you to teach students how to pray. There is also a series called Rhythm that introduces the idea of getting in the rhythm of these spiritual habits. And then you have YouVersion devotionals that are always there, always available. They're aligned with the series. If you are using Grow, those are connected. But if you're not using Grow, you can still use those in your youth group to help teenagers interact with God's words. And then there are devotionals that you can purchase on Amazon. You can grab those up and use them as, an example of what they could do. You can send them to small group leaders and have them share them with their students. You can even email those to parents and be like, hey, if you want your teenagers to spend a little more time in these habits, here's a resource that can help you do that at home with your student, with your teenager. So if you need anything at all, you have questions, the growth strategist and the team at Step You Can Use is always here to help. We would love to help. You can always chat at us or just go to growcurriculum.org for any of the things we talked about today. What a good day, Damean. What a good day.
Dealt with a lot of great things. So hopefully you all feel equipped and ready to go kick some devil butt. Let's go.
I don't know if I feel like equipped ever, but I do feel helped. And I also feel like less afraid. I think just feeling like, okay, it's not all on me. Like, it's not all on me. There's a whole ecosystem we can build.
Take the pressure
and we can
off,
do it together. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take the pressure off.
So we weren't meant to carry all of this. And so I love this idea of sharing it. So Damean, what have you been into lately? Before we sign off, I just got to know what's new.
What's new? Track practice. I'm into track with my 15-year-old. He's doing track. He does high jump and runs like the 100 and I think the 200. And and he does long jump. So he is doing all the things. And so I'm into that. Track meets are long.
That's so fun.
And
I know.
They're fun. They're long and arduous at times. It's like,
Yes.
You mean you don't do another event for 2 hours?
Is he in high school? He's in high school.
He's in high school. Yeah, he's in high school. Yeah.
I feel like high school track meets are much more organized than middle school track meets.
Oh, man.
We helped out in our middle school with track, and wow, it's like it shouldn't have to take 5 hours.
It's wild.
But it does.
That's wild.
But it does. I know.
That's a
You're
full-time
like,
job.
wow.
That's a shift.
It hurts. Well, because, everybody around here is volunteer. It's not like, the meets are scheduled by people who are getting paid to run a whole event. So sometimes the meat is what it is. It just happens when it happens. And that is,
Yeah.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah.
And good luck to your son. That's so cool.
Thank you. It's fun. What about you, girlie? What
Yeah.
are you into?
Well, sort of similar lane. We are coaching beach volleyball. It always starts in February. So we're 4 games in. Right now we're 4-0. So that's kind of fun. Our daughter is a sophomore, so we've got a few more years of coaching beach. But I did talk to my husband. I was like, I know I don't want to speed this up and I don't want to miss a thing, but I will look forward to not being like burnt completely, like scorched in the sun, every day for months at a time, and also just having a little bit of time back someday. So we've been talking about that. But I'm also into, do you happen to remember Clearly Canadian?
I do
This is not
remember
like
Clearly
an
Canadian.
ad. This is not a paid sponsorship. I wish. But I really liked Clearly Canadian when I was a teenager because it was like what I could walk to the gas station and get and feel like such a grown up. And I think it was like $1.25 at the time. And I would sip on it for like 2 days straight because I wouldn't want it to go away. The mountain blackberry flavor. Now they have them with 0 sugar. They did not have them like that before. So I wasn't going to buy them because they're very sugary. And I'm like, I cannot go back. I cannot go and do that. But then when this bad boy reached the shelves.
0 sugar.
Yeah.
That's
and
all you
it's
needed.
probably, I hope it's like not going to kill me kind of 0 sugar. But at this point in my non-research, I'm happy with it. And it's just delicious and nostalgic. So if anybody out there listening knows what a Clearly Canadian is, go check out the no sugar kind. It's good.
That's
I think
cool.
it's good. That one's a
So
wild
you're staying
cherry
hydrated?
flavor. I don't know if it's hydrating or not. It's definitely, it's some kind of water. It's sparkling. It's probably not helping me much, but I am enjoying it. And it's, hey, product of Canada. So go Canada.
Go Canada.
Yeah. My Canadian friends are always like, that's Canadian, right? Because it says Clearly Canadian. Never made the connection as a teenager. No, have you made the connection?
Just now. I'm like, and it is clearly Canadian, but I'm like.
Yeah, and there's a little tiny Canadian leaf, and I never knew this, not until I was like a few years into my 40s.
I did not know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was today years old when I found that out. I was today
Yes, Clearly
years
Canadian
old.
means it's clearly Canadian.
Canadian.
Uh-huh. It's a product du Canada. That's French.
That's crazy.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for.
I'm glad. That was your little French lesson and your
thank you.
Canada lesson.
Je suis
Damean.
I am Damean.
I thought you were going to say like ennui or something like that applied to today, but you said your name. And I think that's great.
I said my name.
You know what the word ennui means, right?
No, I don't. What does ennui mean?
Have you seen Inside Out? It means like bored and sick of life.
I did not. Oh, so you
Inside
see
Out.
ennui.
Yes. I don't know if that's like the proper way to say it, but that's how I imagine you would say, I am bored of this and tired of whatever.
Yeah.
Have you seen Inside Out? Because there's a character, ennui.
I have, but I haven't in a long time, I guess.
Well,
I got to watch it again. I got to refresh.
The new one. There's
a
fresh emotion.
With anxiety in it?
Yes.
That
so
one?
ennui is there. Yeah. The like slides down off the chair, does not care.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta revisit it. All right. I have
all right,
homework.
Well, all right. A biento, Damean. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Bye, fam.
See you later.